Welcome back everybody to the RubbingsRacing channel for round 5 of RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. We're here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course for this one, and it should be an excellent race. We're going to have nighttime conditions for our sprint race here for round 5, and then in the feature race it's going to start at night time and it's going to progress into the daytime. So in the second half of the race the sun will be coming slowly up, the track temperature will be rising, and it'll be interesting to see what tyres these guys choose to run here in our feature race especially. The sprint race should theoretically be soft tyres, but you just never know, especially with the track temperature 120 degrees even at night time. In this part of the world it does get very, very hot here in North America. So very, very interesting to see what sort of strategies these guys adopt. Currently P1 in our qualifying session at the moment is Edwin V77, and Edwin currently sat second in the championship at the moment. He's 8 points behind championship leader Jasko VR currently as it stands. He's had a good season so far. He's had a great record in the feature races. Won last week at Road America, managed to halve that gap to Jasko at the top. It was 16 points going into the last round. He came out of it just 8 points adrift of our Bosnian-Iranian champion. Edwin, obviously the champion in season 1 of 2019. So it'd be interesting if Edwin can really take the fight to Jasko here this evening and push him all the way in the championship fight. Where's Jasko at the moment? Jasko currently P11 in this session. I'm sure he hasn't done a representative lap time yet, because Jasko more than capable of delivering a lot more than that as he comes out of the last turn. Is this a flying lap for Jasko? Here he comes, our Bosnian reigning champion, championship leader. Looks like he's just starting his lap now. So Jasko making his first attempt here for round 5 qualifying of our GT3 championship here this evening. In the background, is that Thorsten Schmidt coming over the line behind him? It looks like Thorsten in the Porsche. I think it is. Yep, there's Porsche going very, very slowly there. So Thorsten's abandoned that attempt. Edwin's coming back out here for another lap. Let's see what Duftinho's doing. Currently running P3, our Czech driver from Olomouc has had a very, very disappointing season so far. Started it off in the Audi, but it ended up making a change to the Lamborghini, which was his favourite team last season. Duftinho pulls it into the pits for the time being. Dalavan currently running P4 in this session at the moment. He is very, very quick driver. Is Dalavan has done pretty well so far in his opening season in RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Currently sat in 4th place in the standings, just behind NRP. He's only 6 points off of 3rd place in the championship standings, so he's had a good run of it so far as Dalavan. Good to see him out on track. Currently P6 in the standings at the moment. It's PT, currently P4, is new to the GT3 league this season. Is it's PT, well, new to this race should I say, has been popping up a few times as one of our reserve drivers, and we know he's been waiting a long time for a full-time gig in RubbingsRacing, and he's finally got it this evening with the unfortunate dropout of one of RubbingsRacing's stewards, Demobi. He's had to bail out of this league due to work commitments, consistently overrunning his ability to race in this league. Shame to see Demobi drop out. Almost won the feature race in our round 1 at Red Bull Ring, but he's had to unfortunately pull out of the league. So it's PT is now one of our full-time drivers. Good to have him here. Lots of pace, lots of talent, and let's see how he gets on. If anyone's interested actually in a hot lap challenge on RubbingsRacing Discord, it's being run by Demobi actually, and check it out. Be sure to post your lap time in the hot lap challenge on our Discord. It's a weekly event. The track and car changes each week, and it's well worth checking it out and getting involved with. The
Jasko
current
got a 2-place penalty.
We're just hearing a team radio here that Jasko, who has gone top of the standings here, reigning champion Jasko, top of the standings, but he's got a 2-place penalty, presumably for cutting over the white line on the exit of the pit lane. So this could spice things up. Just having a look here, Thorsten Schmidt, hell of a lap there. He's done a 123.7. German driver, 30-year-old from Berlin, loves the GT3s, GTs and GT4 cars. Also races in our touring car league, and the sole BMW does an excellent job in that, by the way. Currently sat P2 in this session, provisionally on the front row of the grid. That will be pole position once Jasko drops to his 2-place grid penalty. Having said that, Jasko has gone even faster, 123.3, but he does need to get as high up as he can, because he's going to drop 2 places. Whatever happens at the end of this session, Jasko provisionally will start 3rd on the grid for this one. Very, very disappointed, I'm sure, but we know he's got the pace to make up for it. His PT moves up into third. He's 6/10 off a pole. Edwin struggling a little bit here in this session compared to what we're used to. Currently 9/10 off a pole position in the white Mercedes, coming into turn one now. He'll have plenty of opportunities to make up for that and get himself up that order as the session progresses, but it's not going as well for Edwin as we could have maybe anticipated this time around, but I'm sure he's got plenty of time in this session to make up for it, as I said. What's going on with the other guys? It looks like it's Johnny in the yellow Porsche at the moment, currently 1.7 seconds off the pace, running P8 in this session as it stands. He's a 33-year-old living in France, but he is English, and he started karting at a very early age. He was actually racing at the age of 8. He was a professional racing driver for a short time. He raced in Formula Ford F3000, but had to stop due to the cost of running a real car. Guys, racing is not it's not a cheap sport, and it's much cheaper to run it on your PS4 than it is to run it in real life. So guys, if you can't afford to run a real car on a real racetrack week in, week out, then simply go to www.rubbingsracing.co.uk and sign up as a driver and become a part of the most authentic sim racing experience in the world. Johnny comes over the line. It's not an improvement that time around. This just goes to show the standard of driving in Rubbings Racing really is phenomenal. Johnny, a former professional racing driver, is currently sat P8 in this session. It just goes to show the standard of Rubbings Racing League. It's absolutely phenomenal, and hats off to all the guys out on the track for really going at their best. Edwin's moved up to P2 at the moment, currently 3/10 off a pole position. So as it stands, with Yasko taking his 2-place penalty at the end of this session, it will promote Edwin up onto pole position. So our Colombian driver in the box seat at the moment to take some points out of Yasko's championship lead as it stands. But we all know that Yasko is definitely going to be wanting to charge back through, and 2 places is not too much for our reigning champion to overhaul. I'm absolutely certain of that, but let's wait and see how this progresses. Thorsten Smith comes into the pits from 3rd place, so he seems to have bailed out of this one. Maybe he'll be out for another attempt. Duftinho absolutely flying at the moment, just half a second off of pole position, currently sat P4 in the standings in the Lamborghini. Yep, Duftinho is always a dark horse for a podium. You can never write him off. He's got a very lowly championship position so far this season, but that is very unrepresentative of the talent that this young man has, and I'm sure we'll be expecting more things from him. There's Lionsfoot just going past Duftinho now. Let's stay with Scotty and see what sort of lap time this is. Currently sat P14 in this session, so Scotty's got a little bit of a job to do here as we come into the latter stages of this qualifying session for round 5 of Rubbings Racing's GT3 Championship. Here he comes into the final sector now. Let's have a look at the split times, see if we can get an idea of what sort of lap this is. I think we're a bit too late on the split times, but he rides the curve a little bit on the inside. Nicely done, very nicely navigated here in the Lamborghini. Scotty's just got a couple of corners to go. Bit of a wide entry, very, very wide run through that corner. That would have lost him a little bit of time, but he's going to come onto the banking now. Scotty, our Welsh driver from Swansea, Marshall on the Discord, head steward of Rubbings Racing's GT3 League, comes over the line. And it's not an improvement this time around from Scotty. He'll get a couple more goes to try and move himself up the order here in qualifying for round 5 of Rubbings Racing's GT3 Championship. Thank you everybody for joining us on the stream. We'll be able to read your comments as soon as we get the opportunity. Thank you ever so much for checking us out live on the stream, and please feel free to share this, and share this with your friends, share this with everyone, and let them know that we're live at the moment on YouTube. Rubbings Racing live 4 nights a week, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Sundays, so be sure to check it out every time we're live on the Rubbings Racing channel. Where's Yasko doing? Yasko's still provisional pole position at the moment. So Jeff Sharp says, evening Andy. GRT Jack says, good evening guys. Ken Smith says, good evening. Good luck fellas. Bobby Gray says good evening, and Leonardo Joe Pereira says, where is Archil? Archil has unfortunately had to pull out of the league for the time being. We're hoping that he'll return at some point, but temporarily Archil has actually withdrawn from the GT3 Championship. I'm sure we'll be seeing him again at some point, hopefully not in a not too distant future, but we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So for the time being, qualifying session, we've got Yasko VR sat on provisional pole position by just 0.3 of a second here, and but we know that he'll drop 2 positions in the standings once he picks up this 2-place penalty. So Edwin Currently will start on pole position, then Thorsten would line up alongside him on the first. And look at this. This is a turn up for the books. It's PT, fastest of the session so far. He's gone just 1,000th of a second faster than Jasko, so that's an unbelievable time there from his PT, putting it on pole position. Jasko's got it all to do now. Currently, as it stands, we're starting on the second row, down in 4th place, but Jasko's got it all to do. 1,000th of a second off a pole, but we know he'll be dropping 2 places with the penalty at the end of this session. This is going to be an absolutely fascinating end to our qualifying session. Is it PT going to be settled with that? It looks like he is. He looks like he's not going to be out for another lap, so it's PT thinks he's done enough here for pole position. He knows that even if Jasko does better his lap time, he will still line up behind him. It looks like Jasko has gone faster. Jasko back onto provisional pole position, but it will not be enough because he has got the penalty, so Jasko will have time to do 2 more laps by the looks of it. But it's PT currently in the box seat. Edwin 0.4 of a second shy of these guys, but he will be elevated up into 2nd place once Jasko takes the penalty at the end of this session. This is going to be brilliant, and we've got Thorsten Schmidt not too far off these guys, just 0.4 of a second off a pole. Duftino's still out. No, Duftino's bailed out, so Duftino's into the pits. Duftino is not going to get pole position here for this sprint race. It's down to Jasko, Edwin and Thorsten Schmidt for pole here, or can... It looks like it's PT's pitted, so Jasko, Edwin or Thorsten for the fastest time. It looks like Jasko's got it, but with the 2 place penalty, as I keep reminding you if you're just joining us, Jasko VR 2 place penalty for going over the white lines on the exit of the pit lane will drop plenty of places. Jasko's furthest up on the track, I think. Yes, he is. Jasko's going to be the first across the line. Here he comes, coming onto the banking into the final chicane. He's going to have to nail it if he wants to keep pole position, because I'm sure that Edwin and Thorsten are going to be absolutely flying in the background. We're seeing fastest sector times from these guys. Here comes Jasko. What is it going to be for our Bosnian reigning champion here at the end of qualifying? He'll get 1 more run after this. This isn't it for Jasko, and he's bailed out. Jasko withdraws from his attempt, so it looks like he's finished for this session. Thorsten Schmidt is coming over the line. What's it going to be for Thorsten Schmidt? It's not going to be enough. He bins it over the line, so Edwin, the only man who can make a difference here in this session. Can Edwin upset the form book at the last moments here of this qualifying session? It doesn't look like he's going to do it. He's 2/10 down in the first sector. Edwin is going to have to pull an absolute cracker out of the bag in the second half of this lap if he wants to get pole position in this race, or even move up into second, or make any difference to the current pecking order in this session. It looks like Ugbar's stood out there on a lap, as is Lionsfoot, but it's all down to Edwin here, the only man at the top of the rankings who can get involved in this battle here. Our Colombian Season 1 2019 champion is coming into the final couple of turns. He's got a better middle sector now, so if he can nail this final sector, he might be able to put himself up onto the front row potentially. Here he comes, Edwin, going to wrestle it through the final chicane. A little bit of curb on the inside, not too much on the exit, and gets a quite wide entry into the penultimate corner. A little bit of grass on the exit, and he's going to get a nice run here now. Edwin through the final turn, currently sat P3 in qualifying. Is it going to be enough to get involved with Jasko and its PT over the line? And it's not going to be enough, so it's going to be Jasko starting. Well, it's Jasko with the fastest time in the session, but with the 2 place penalty, it's PT. It's going to be starting on pole position for round 5 of RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship here at the Brickyard. Looks like Edwin's going to line up alongside him on the front row. Then we got Jasko and Thorsten Schmidt on row 2. Duftino and Dalavan are going to start 5th and 6th. Then we've got Bruce Law and Uni Clark 7th and 8th. Johnny and Travis 9th and 10th. Have a quick look down the order. We're going to take a screenshot of these. Let's see what's going on down below. So we got Ugbar, a Flying Dutchman, lining up 11th. Nicky, a disappointing qualifying session for him, down in 12th place. I'm sure we'll see him coming back through the pack in this one. Still getting to grips with that Lamborghini. We've got Traven in 13th place. Lionsfoot and Effie, a last minute stand-in. Effie raced with us a few times in last season's GT3 Championship. Not a regular driver. He asked for an invite, and seeing as he's a member of our Discord, we have got him in for this one. So just 3 seconds separating the entire field here for the GT3 Championship in these cars. That is a very, very close margin between all the guys. I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us. We're about to get going for the sprint race. I want to say good luck to everyone on the grid, and let's continue and proceed to the next page. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get going for the sprint race. Bobby Gray says, let's go Ugbar. Ugbar's got a fan in the chat, Lightblade there, voicing his support here for our Flying Dutchman. Gary Campbell says, good luck guys. It looks like GRT Jack saying good luck to everyone racing here tonight. Leonardo Di Ferrero says XPT's the new kid on the block. It looks like we're underway here, and it looks like Edwin's got XPT straight off the line. Great start there from Edwin. It looks like Thorsten Schmidt's making a nice start. Jasko a little bit bogged down off the line here. Thorsten Schmidt charging up the inside. Looks like he's going to be ahead of XPT coming into turn 1. Here we come. Edwin with a nice clear lead. It looks like Thorsten Schmidt's going to follow him in second place. It looks like XPT's going to come around the outside here of Jasko. And it looks like XPT's done it. So Jasko looked up the inside, but XPT holding the position very nicely there on the exit of the corner. So Edwin leading the way. We've got Thorsten Schmidt, SPT, Jasko, Dalavan, Uniclark, Duftino, Johnny, Traven. It looks like Traven's got past Johnny for P8. Looks like they're having a good battle there side by side. Looks like we've got a lot of guys going side by side. Johnny there seizing up the inside there of Traven, and Travis here looking to get involved. Travis looking very close, and looks like Travis is going to have Traven coming down this long straight up towards turn 4. Yes, he does. Travis dives up the inside there of Traven in the background there. It looked like Lionsfoot was having to think about it, but then thought better of it. NRP, what a start. We keep seeing this. Nicky made an absolutely fantastic start on the first lap. He's already up to 8th from 13th on the grid. Phenomenal driving there from Nicky. Let's have a look at the front. It looks like Edwin not able to shake off Thorsten as we come towards the end of the first lap here. Thorsten made an excellent start. Got right off the line straight away. iBeats Remixes says, hi, it's Old Smokey. Good to see you, Old Smokey. Flaky says, what a stupid move. We'll have to look back on the replay, Flaky. Which particular incident are you referring to? It looks like Thorsten here. Hit straight. Edwin at the moment with a comfortable enough lead, but Jasko is going to be absolutely all over the back of him. Looks like Jasko got the move done on its PT there. And definitely, Flaky says there was a move in the S section that he didn't agree with, but Flaky will have to check that out as and when we can. But at the moment, Edwin here leading the race. Thorsten not letting him go out of his sight, but Thorsten's going to be absolutely under heavy pressure now from Jasko. Jasko right behind him. And in the meantime, it's PT not letting Jasko go. We saw it's PT with a great start, was ahead of Jasko coming through turn 1, but in the end Jasko must have made the move on lap 1, and it looks like now it's PT is looking back to the inside here of Jasko. Can he make the move done? It looks like he's had to back out of that one. But he had a little look there, tried to distract Jasko in the mirrors. Jasko, we know he's not the type of driver to get bullied off the road, and holding his line and holding his nerve in the meantime. But it looks like Edwin's had a little bit of a shaky middle sector here. The battle for the lead rages on. Just 0.6 of a second separates 2019 Season 1 champion. Thorsten having a little look to the inside in the Porsche, but doesn't think that he's close enough this time around. But just 1.5 seconds separating these top 4 guys as it stands. It's a shame really that it's PT wasn't involved earlier on in the season, because I'm sure he would have been absolutely mixing it up for podium places in pretty much every single one of these races. As we see it's PT hitting the wall there on the exit of the final turn. Didn't seem to cost him too much time. You are at an advantage if you try and get as close to the wall as you possibly can in that final turn. You do get reduced drag, and it does help the car, the suction of the car. It helps drag it along. At the moment we've got Dalavan P5, Uniclark Duftino, NRP Johnny, then we got Ugbar, Flying Dutchman running P10, Lionsfoot, Bruce Law in 12th. Bruce Law having a disappointing one so far in this race. Effie, our late stand-in for this one, is running P13. Then we've got Travis, and looks like Traven in the background there. Had a little look there, but had to back out of that one in the end. So Edwin seems to have put a little bit of breathing space after he had Thorsten right up his bumper coming through the last turn. But it appears to be the middle sector where Edwin's struggling a little bit in that Mercedes. The Porsche really is reeling him in the middle part of the circuit. So our Colombian driver definitely found wanting in this particular section of the track. Having said that though, he looks pretty confident through that little bit there. JR Sim Racing says very tricky track. Yep, Eddie, definitely not an easy one to master. Eddie, obviously last season's coordinator for the GT3 League. You probably heard him many times on the commentary box. Good to have him in the chat here checking us out. So we saw Thorsten there having another look at Edwin, but Edwin at the moment not taking the bait. But having said that, Thorsten with a wonderful exit out of the final turn. He's going to get an excellent run coming down the pit straight. Is Edwin going to have to go defensive here? Thorsten right behind him, just 0.2 of a second separating them as they come over the line now. And Thorsten's going to look to the inside now. They're going to go side by side down the pit straight. Is he going to go for a move? He's going to think about it, and it looks like Edwin closes the door on him. But Thorsten looking very, very feisty. He knows that Jasko is going to be following these guys very, very closely, and Thorsten will want to make that move as soon as he can to avoid coming under pressure now from Jasko. But Edwin having none of it at the moment, holding on to position very nicely in the background. It's PT just waiting for these guys to come together or make a mistake. just watching this unfold. Bobby Gray says Thorsten is very quick in that Porsche. He is indeed. Thorsten, we know he's one of these guys who likes to wring the best out of tricky cars. He races in the BMW in the Touring Car League on Tuesdays, and we're seeing it again here in the GT3s. Driving that Porsche around Indy road course is not easy. Leonardo Joe Pereira says brilliant stuff here. Fantastic racing. It looks like Thorsten's coming over a little bit of pressure now from Jasko. I just said just now that if he wasn't able to clear Edwin as soon as possible, he's going to come under tremendous pressure, and we're seeing that here as they come into the final stretch. Is his PT going to go for a move here on Jasko? He thought about it, but then in the end had to back out of it. But I'm expecting we're going to have fireworks down this pit straight. Edwin's going to have a little bit of breathing space here, but these guys, second, third and fourth, Thorsten, Jasko and its PT are going to go side by side most likely. It looks like its PT very, very close to our reigning champion here as we come onto the pit straight now. It looks like Jasko's going to go defensive very, very early. Its PT's going to look at his side, but the problem is all of these guys have the slipstream of the car ahead, so it's going to be next to impossible to make the move. But its PT goes for a dive. Oh no! Its PT runs into Thorsten Schmidt. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking for Thorsten. Just a very unlucky victim there. Its PT misjudged his braking point, and it looks like Thorsten's going to drop back lots and lots of position. We know that. I know that was a mistake from its PT. That was a terrible, terrible mistake, but it was a mistake. I know that wasn't on purpose. He's not that type of a guy. But that's very, very unfortunate, and those two guys are now going to have to make their way back through the pack. Still 13 minutes left to go in this session. Still plenty of time for these guys to get their act together and make the most of this sprint race. But I feel desperately for Thorsten, driving an unbelievable race here in this sprint race, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. I felt it as soon as I saw that, and I knew that its PT had misjudged that braking point, but it's so easy to do, especially around Indianapolis. Its PT had the slipstream of 3 cars in front of him. He just was not expecting to have that sort of speed at the end of the straight, and unfortunately didn't take it into account when going for his braking point. Very unfortunate, very easy to do. Bobby Gray says, wow. Leonardo Joe Pereira said likewise. Looks like it's down to these 2 championship contenders to fight out this sprint race, and we can see a little bit of hijinks here coming from Edwin, trying to duck out of the slipstream. Jasko just trying to stick to him like glue here, staying very, very close. Thorsten Schmidt has retired from the race due to the incident there with its PT. Maybe too much damage on that car. It's a shame there, because Thorsten's going to have to start at the back for the feature race. So that is a shame to see. If he'd stuck with it, he would have been starting right near the front. But it is what it is, and he'll be starting alongside Edwin, Jasko and Dottinho and all those guys, so he can still do something in this feature race. As we see Edwin having to go very, very defensive now from Jasko, coming out of the back straight up towards turn 4. He's going to hold his line here, and Jasko trying to put him under every bit of pressure that he can. These two guys, the championship contenders, just 8 points separating them in the championship. It's Jasko currently leading the championship, but only by 8 points. If Edwin manages to win this race, he will take 5 points out of Jasko's lead, and that will become 3 coming into the feature race here this evening. So it's all to play for between these two guys, the 2 champions of RubbingsRacing's GT3 division. Edwin, the winner in season 1 of 2019, and Jasko, the champion of season 2 of 2019. So these guys with a score to settle. Who is going to become RubbingsRacing's first ever double GT3 champion? It's between these two guys, and this is going to be an absolute thriller. I'm dead excited for this one. As they come down the pit straight now, it looks like Jasko's going to have a fantastic run on Edwin. Is Edwin going to go defensive? Yes, he is. He goes to the inside. Jasko's going to have to go around him if he wants to get this done. Into turn 1. He's going to be late on the brakes. It looks like Edwin's slightly later on the brakes than Jasko. He's going to have to be very careful on the exit there, because Jasko went for the undercut, and Edwin had to be very, very aware of what Jasko was doing there, because Edwin maybe slightly outbraked himself, but in the end got it together, parked his car in all the right places. Fantastic driving from Edwin. Good awareness there from Jasko as well, not to run into the back of him. This is an unbelievable race between these guys. Very, very evenly matched, very, very close in the championship. 2 former, or one is the reigning, the other is the former champion of the GT3 division. We're expecting fireworks, and we've got it so far in this race. Unfortunate instance earlier on. It looks like Jasko's going to try on the outside of Edwin. Edwin's going to try and run him out of road. They're going to go side by side. Edwin just about holding on around the outside. Oh my goodness, Edwin holding on to the position, but Jasko looking like he really wants this. And Jasko going a little bit wide there. Edwin trying to defend for everything he can. Still still holding the position. They're bumper to bumper, side by side, clean racing between these two guys. This is what you expect between two champions of the GT3s. It looks like Edwin with a slightly compromised exit. Is Jasko trying on the outside? No. Edwin late on the brakes, holding the position as they come through the final turn onto the banking now. And Jasko looks like he's got a nice run again. Edwin goes defensive very, very early. Maybe blocked him a little bit there. Jasko's going to have to go again. Jasko flashes his lights and says, what are you doing there? Now, I'm sure he's not very happy about that, but he's got plenty of time in this session. We're just over half distance here for the sprint race here for RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Round 5 here at Indianapolis Road Course. Edwin versus Jasko. Who's going to come out on top? Duftinho riding a little bit down the road in third. It looks like we've had a disconnection. Duftinho is disconnected. So that's very unfortunate there for Duftinho. Our Czech driver has unfortunately disconnected from the race. That's very, very unfortunate to see. It looks like Dalavan picked up third place at the moment in this session. Didn't really see what happened there. We're sort of running on board with Duftinho, ironically, and he just suddenly popped out. So that is very unlucky there for Duftinho. We hope he can get back with us for the feature race. But Dalavan promoted to the final podium spot now. Uni Clark running not too far behind him. And Nicky, we said about Nicky earlier on, started 13th in this race. He's up to 5th already. So that is a brilliant job so far from Nicky. Could he get himself on the podium from 13th on the grid? That would be an absolute masterclass if he's able to do that. It looks like we just see Johnny getting sideways there. Was that Johnny getting sideways? It looks like it was. No, it's Pete. No, it's Brett. Yeah, it is Johnny. Johnny getting very sideways through the S's. He gets it going again, but he's going to lose lots and lots of time there. Was running 6th. He's now down to 8th, and he's going to find himself into the clutches of Bruce Law here. So Johnny struggling here in this evening in this sprint race. Let's hope he can get it sorted for the feature. At the moment, the battle for the lead, still just 0.2 of a second separates our Colombian and our Bosnian. It looks like Edwin's going to go defensive, leave just enough room on the inside for Jasko to think about it, and then slams the door in the braking zone. Good fair racing there from Edwin, and fairer than what we saw in the last corner a couple of laps ago. That was definitely questionable. I wouldn't say penalty worthy, but definitely not very sportsmanlike. And if he keeps on doing that, I wouldn't be surprised if Jasko throws one up the inside, and who could blame him in this situation? It's getting a bit heated here at the front, but at the moment the guy's keeping it just about within the boundaries of clean so far. Edwin and Jasko, nothing to separate them though. What a battle, and it looks like they're both still pulling away from the guys behind despite the fact that they're battling. So these guys in an absolute class of their own at the moment. Dalavan looks like he's holding on for P3, maintaining the gap here to Uni Clark, but Nicky is absolutely homing in on these guys. Duftinho there says in the chat, oh my god, disconnection. Yeah, Duftinho, we're riding on board with you when you disconnected. You were coming through turn 1, and I was just saying, like, Duftinho's in the final podium spot, and then suddenly he just disappeared. And I thought, what on earth's happened? But it's very, very unlucky there. And what's happened to Jasko? Jasko must have maybe had contact or a moment there with Edwin. We'll have to find out after the race, but he's dropped way back. Edwin now with a 2.5 second lead. We've got 7 minutes left to go in this session. Can Jasko get it together and fight back? Combing him here with in the final few laps. We're into the final third of this sprint race. But at the moment, Edwin doing a fantastic job. We didn't see what caused that little incident there, but I'm sure we'll find out after the race. Dalavan currently P3 at the moment. He's got Uni Clark closing in on him in his mirrors. Nicky not letting these guys out of his sight either. It's PT. Had a disappointing one after the contact there with Thorsten. I know it wasn't intentional. So that stuff just happens in racing. Ugbar not too far behind him. I think It's actually just past Ugbar for P6. Bruce Law currently running in P8. Looks like he's got round Johnny, and Traven looks like he's trying to defend here from Lionsfoot. Lionsfoot looking to the outside of the first corner, and Lionsfoot, what a move there from Scotty. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he does. Fantastic. No, he doesn't. Oh, he's got a bit loose on the exit of the curb, and that's going to allow Traven back through again. So Scotty, it looked like he had pulled off an absolute worldie of an overtake, but in the end just couldn't handle the getting the hammer down on the outside off the racing line. And ultimately it looks like he's lost that position in the end. So Scotty there looked like he had pulled off a worldie, and then in the end ended up losing the position there to Traven. These guys, I'm sure their battle for the final top 10 spot is going to rage on. But in the meantime, we've got Edwin leading the race. Currently just over 2 seconds is his gap to Jasko. We saw Jasko right up the back of Edwin for quite a while in this race, but then at the moment there a couple of laps ago dropped off the back of him. So Edwin at the moment currently with the race lead, 2.4 seconds. Edwin will eat into Jasko's championship lead with a victory here in this sprint race. He'll gain 5 points on the Bosnian as it stands, which means that the gap in the championship will go down from 8 to 3. And these two former champions, we know that they've got this season's standings pretty much between them. So it'd be fascinating to see how this one plays out. It's PT and Thorsten Schmidt were really battling hard with these guys for that. They were the top 4 for a long time, and they were really giving it a go. But unfortunately, an incident between It's PT and Thorsten Schmidt, just a racing incident. Unfortunately, It's PT misjudged his braking point. I imagine he will be getting a penalty in the stewards' room due to the negligent nature of the incident. But it was unfortunate, and I know it wasn't intentional. That sort of thing does happen. And it's a shame really, because it was really shaping up to be a good battle, but unfortunately It's PT running down in P6. Thorsten Schmidt had to retire from the race due to the incident, but it looks like these guys have got it between themselves. And on this last lap, it looks like Edwin's lost a bit of time to Jasko. Jasko on a late charge here towards the end of the sprint race. We saw that he was right up the back of him earlier on in the race, and then there was a little bit of an incident that we missed on the stream a couple of laps ago, where in the middle sector it seemed like Jasko must have either binned it or there must have been contact. And it looks like Edwin has pulled out the gap a little bit, but in the meantime, that last time around, Jasko a second quicker. So Jasko not letting our Colombian driver run away into the distance here. Currently 1.2 seconds is the gap between these guys. What's happening with Dalavan? Dalavan still being homed in on now by Uniclark, but last time around Dalavan pulled out 4/10 on our man from Swindon. NRP was quicker than both of those guys last time around, so absolutely flying is Nicky. It's PT on his own in 6th place. Can he hunt down these guys in the final couple of laps and maybe challenge for a podium spot? It looks like it's probably going to be a bit of a tall order for him. He's currently lapping a second a lap quicker than Dalavan, Uniclark and Nicky, so it's on the cards. But having said that, I would say we've got maximum maybe 3 racing laps, 2.5 laps left in this race. So looking at the scoreboard, it would be a very, very tall task for It's PT to pull off. Ugbar is currently running in 7th. Our Flying Dutchman has had a bit of a quiet one so far, but solid points for Ugbar in 7th at the moment. Bruce Law in P8 managed to clear Johnny, but Johnny's not letting him go here. And Traven and Lionsfoot still battling it out for the final top 10 spot. Great racing here this evening. Ken Smith says, let's go NRP. Ken voicing his support there for Nicky in the chat, and it looks like Nicky's looking to the inside here of Uniclark. Can he make the move? It looks like Dalavan's lost out. Both of these guys have got past Dalavan, so Dalavan in the wars here on lap 12 of this sprint race. And can he fight back, or have Uniclark and Nicky got the measure of him as they come out of the final turn? Nicky from 13th on the grid up into 4th. What a stunner a race from our man from Silverstone. He's got a podium spot in his sights now, and we know Nicky's going to give it absolutely everything to take that final podium spot in the sprint race. What a race it would be for him. And with the nature of RubbingsRacing's format in the GT3 league, he will have to do it all over again in the feature race if he does finish 3rd, because he'll start from 3rd last. Reverse grids are the way we do things here at RubbingsRacing, so the feature race we start reverse from the results of the sprint race. Having said that though, we've had a few dropouts in this one, so the guys who dropped out of the sprint race will have to start from the back unless they completed more than, I think it's 75% of the race. I'll have to clarify the rulebook on that one at the end of the race. We'll have to check that out, but it may mean that Nicky might start mid-pack or so in this one, and Edwin and Jasko might start maybe 9th, 10th or 11th, something around those lines. We'll have to check it out after the race and keep an eye on this one. But at the moment, Edwin's still holding on, but Jasko's going to look to the inside and second last corner. They're going side by side, bit of contact there. Jasko out muscles Edwin, and it's into the lead of the race. Brilliant move there from the Bosnian. Can Edwin fight back here? Coming down the pit straight, we know that Mercedes has got fantastic straight line speed, but is it set up that way, or is it set up for the infield section? We'll have to wait and see. It looks as though Jasko's got the measure of him. Last time around, Jasko was a second faster than Edwin. Can Edwin go for a move? He's going to go for a dive. Oh my goodness me! And he's overshot that one. That was just an opportunistic, I think that was last chance saloon there for Edwin. He knew it was a do or die situation, and Jasko with the lead of the race. He's hunted him down. He went after him. He made the mistake when he was right behind him a few laps ago, and then he regrouped, went again, and Jasko back with the lead of the race. Leonardo says, what a dive. It didn't pay off, unfortunately. He nearly did it, you know. I'd say he almost got that car slowed down, but he just overshot it just a tiny bit. If that had been, if he had pulled that off, that would have been the overtake of the century from Edwin. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Well done to Jasko, and we've got probably just a lap to go. I reckon that Jasko's just about going to start the last lap here. It looks like they're going to do one more lap after this one. So Uni Clark currently holding the final podium spot, just ahead of Nicky, but this is going to be a battle that's going to rage on right through to the end of the race. This oh, we don't want to do that. Pardon me, sorry. Jasko coming into the penultimate corner now. It looks like this might actually be it. This is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to start another lap. So Jasko exits the final corner. He's going to take the sprint race win here for round 5 of the GT3 Championship here at Indianapolis. Edwin, with the last lap loss of the lead there, finishes in 2nd place. Uni Clark and Nicky are going to fight this one out right to the line, but it looks like Uni Clark's going to do it. He's got enough of it, and Uni Clark holds on for 3rd. Nicky, what a drive. 13th to 4th in our sprint race. Phenomenal job from Nicky. It's PT rounds up the top 5 after a collision there with Thorsten, dropped him way back the order. Dalavan 6th, Ugbar holds on for 7th ahead of Bruce Law. Then we got Johnny, disappointing spin in the S section, dropped him from 6th down to 9th. And Traven looks like he's going to hold off Scotty here for P10. We saw Scotty making a very, very ambitious move around the outside there at the first corner, but unfortunately he's lost out in this one. Scotty 11th place. What a drive there from Jasko. He managed to hunt down Edwin in the end. Fastest lap also goes to Jasko. He'll get the bonus point for that one. Disappointing result there for its PT and Thorsten Schmidt. We'll be looking forward to seeing those guys coming back through the pack in the feature race. We can't wait to see how this unfolds. Stay with us, guys. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a feature race. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. We'll see you very, very shortly. Go and get your drinks. Go to, you know, do what you got to do. And these guys on the grid will do the same. And then we'll see you very, very shortly. Catch you in a moment, guys. Looks like we're all aboard. So Scotty, when you want, you can put your foot down. We're ready to go. And it looks like he's gone. We're underway for the feature race. Lights are out. We're underway. Scotty gets a fantastic bite. Has already left Traven absolutely for dead. We've got some contact there in the background. Hopefully those guys are going to get it sorted together. But it looks like at the moment we've got Johnny looking very, very aggressive here on the outside of Traven. Can he get the move done going into turn 1? It looks like Johnny might have it done. Or is Traven going to fight back on the inside? Looks like Traven's going to stay there. And he's going to try and stick with him. But Johnny looks like he's got the move. Johnny up into P2. Having said that though, Traven not letting it go. Staying right with him here. Traven's going to make a move back up the inside, going very late on the brakes, and Johnny leaves the door open in the end, doesn't fight him too hard for it. In the background here we've got Bruce Law and Luke Barr making good progress at the back, and Jasko's already up into P6. Fantastic start from Jasko. He's absolutely flying through already. Dalavan up into P7, it's PT up into P8 at the moment, and Nicky is currently running in 9th. We're expecting him to make his way through the field as the race progresses. Edwin not making as much progress as Jasko. He's down in P11 at the moment. Where is Thorsten? We saw Thorsten running high in the sprint race. He's currently P10 at the moment, so Jasko getting the jump on his rivals here, already up into 6th, now 5th by the looks of it. He gets a little bit of contact there, but it looks like there's nothing doing there. It looks like it's okay, but Ugbar maybe a little bit put off there by Jasko, but in the end nothing doing. It looks like Bruce is up into, oh no, it's PT. He's going to go up the inside of Bruce. It's PT up into P6. He's going to be following Jasko through the pack here. So it's PT with a nice little start there. He's going to have on the back of our Flying Dutchman here. So coming out of the final turn, it looks like Lion's Foot leads the pack. Oh god, we don't want to do that, no. Lion's Foot leads the pack at the end of lap 1. We've got Traven dropping off the back of him. So Scotty getting an absolute flyer of a start to this race. He's now got a 2-second lead. Traven has passed Johnny again. So Johnny not able to make the move here on Traven at this early stage in the race. Still running P3. We got Ugbar just about. Ugbar's got back past Jasko, our Flying Dutchman. What a move, passing our reigning champion. And it looks like Ugbar's got it really hooked up in this one. He's made the move back on him, but Jasko now coming under pressure from its PT. So could this be our reigning champion and championship leader struggling here in the early stage of this feature race? Its PT's going to look to the outside. Jasko's going to go defensive. Can its PT go around its outside? Is he going to be late on the brakes? It looks like he's going to try it, and SPT is going to go very late, very wide, but can he pull it off? It looks like he has. Can he have done it? Yes, he has. Jasko, what's going on with our championship leaders? Passed round the outside on lap 3 of this race. Struggling already. I'm sure Jasko will not like that one bit, and he will be desperate to fight back here. But XPT has absolutely stuck it on Jasko big time, ladies and gentlemen. What a move from XPT. He's now going to chase after our Flying Dutchman in 4th. But it's PT, after the disappointment of the contact in the sprint race, absolutely showing what he's made of so far in this one. Brilliant stuff from him. In the meantime, Lionsfoot comes over the line to complete lap 3. He's got a 2-second lead here to Traven, and Traven's going to be we've still got Johnny right behind him, so Johnny's not giving this one up. It looks like XPT's now shaping up a move on Ugbar. Is he going to go to the inside? He is. He's going to go very late on the brakes here, and he's going to make the move. It looks like he's going to make it stay. No, Ugbar's going to hold it on the outside, and in the meantime, Jasko's going to dip his nose in there. XPT's going to have to fight for this one. He's going to have the inside for turn 2, and XPT just about holding off Jasko. He's going to look to the inside now of Ugbar. XPT's going to have to be very, very careful. He is on a reprimand after what happened in the sprint race, but he doesn't seem to be too phased by that. He'll get a slowdown penalty for cutting the S's there, so Jasko may end up taking that position unless he very, very strategically places his slowdown penalty. Hold on a moment. So, lap 4 of this race, Lionsfoot pulling out the gap at the front. Scotty's had an absolute flyer of a start to this race. He's got 2 seconds to Traven. If you're just joining us, Johnny has been sticking to the back of Traven like glue, but hasn't been able to get that position at the moment. Ugbar having an excellent start to this race. Currently P4, holding off. It's PT and Jasko, 2 of the fastest guys in this league. It's PT, new to the RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship as a permanent driver this evening. Has made a few cameo appearances as a reserve over the start of the season, but he has finally got that position in the league that he so wanted, and here he is absolutely showing what he's made of. He's made a move around the outside of Jasko in the early laps, truly throwing down a benchmark there, and Jasko didn't like that, I'm sure, but he'll be wanting to fight back here. It's PT currently not able to make a move on our Flying Dutchman. Ugbar doing a grand old job here in 4th place. We know that Ugbar has got a lot of talent, especially with these heavy fuel loads. He definitely knows how to steady that ship. But it's PT going ever larger in our Flying Dutchman's mirror as they come through the S's. It's very, very close here. It looks like he's got the slipstream as they come down his back straight. Can Ugbar defend the position? It's PT, pulls out the side, and in the meantime it looks like, ooh, can he make a move? Looks like Johnny in the foreground there, having a look on Traven, but Traven holding his ground at the moment. Johnny ever closer, and it looks like these two are now making some inroads here on Scotty. So Scotty has got a lead of just over a second at the front, but these guys chasing him down. They were definitely quicker that last time around. And we see Ugbar in the background getting a little bit loose on the grass, and that's going to allow SPT and Jasko to make the move. It looks like Jasko up into P5. So Ugbar there making an uncharacteristic error. He's down into P6. He'll find himself now under pressure from NRP, and a little bit late on the brakes there from Ugbar. A little bit of contact, but not too much doing. Just a bit of a kiss on the back of Jasko, and it looks like Ugbar now struggling a little bit onto the grass, and he's going to find himself open to an attack from NRP as they come out of the last turn now. NRP very nicely into the slipstream as you see the cone go absolutely flying off there, and he's going to find himself absolutely open here. Is NRP going to go for a move at the inside in the foreground? It looks like Johnny and Traven and SBT are going to go 3 wide into the first turn. It looks like SBT up the inside of Johnny. Johnny can leave the door wide open. And that is its PT up into the final podium spot. He can now chase down Traven for P2. Great start from its PT. Jasko was up into P6 at the start of lap 1, but since then has only gained 1 position. Can't seem to get past Johnny. He took a while to clear off Ugbar. So at the moment, Jasko not doing the greatest job at the moment. Edwin currently 37 seconds off the lead. He must have been into the pits. So Edwin maybe taking advantage of the long pit lane by going in early and getting it out of the way, and he's now in some clear air. He's got 20 seconds of clean air in front of him, so our Colombian driver could potentially be pulling off an absolute masterstroke here in this feature race. If he can get his head down and put some log some laps in, then he will find himself very, very close to the front, if not at the front, when these guys at the top of the pecking order come into the pits. So Edwin, Thorsten, Bruce Law have all been in for their mandatory pit stops. These are the guys to look out for later in the race. In the meantime, it's PT's picked off Traven for second. He's now chasing down Scotty, our Welsh driver from Swansea. Marshall on the Discord has led 6 laps of this feature race so far, doing a phenomenal job here. here is Scotty as he comes over the line to complete lap 6, and we're getting a strange old camera view there. Don't know what that's all about, but it's PT definitely in the slipstream, and these two have shaken off Traven here, so looks like Scotty and SPT have got this one together, and it looks like Scotty's gone very, very wide, and that's going to allow SPT up into P1. Scotty gets it all wrong going through turn 1. Very unfortunate there, but it looks like he's kept hold on to P2. Traven's now going to close right onto the back of him, and in the background Jasko's losing touch with these guys. What is going on with our reigning champion today in this feature race? He's really not been at the races so far. Johnny has lost P4 to Jasko. He's now dropping back, but it doesn't look like Ugbar's too much onto the back of him. NRP closing right onto the back of our Flying Dutchman now. He's just got 0.2 of a second separating him and NRP. Let's read the comments. Ollie Marseille says, yeah, let's go Andy. Thanks, Ollie. Yeah, Leonardo says, how did Jasko manage that? Well, he hasn't done much since then. He's up to P4, Leonardo, but he hasn't. Oh, having said that though, he's right on the back of Traven now. He's going to look to the inside here, coming into the penultimate corner. Looks like he's got the inside. Jasko should have P3 here if he's late on the brakes, and he does indeed. Is Traven going to fight him back? We know these two have history. They've had a few wheel-to-wheel combats before, and Traven's not going to let this one go lightly as they come through the final couple of turns. Pardon me now. Bobby Gray says, Ugbar, great defending. He's one of the best, Ugbar, especially when going wheel to wheel. He knows how to defend his line cleanly and properly. One of our marshals, our league coordinator as well on our Discord, definitely knows how to put up a fight. It looks like Jasko now. Next up for him is Scotty. So we can see Traven there having a look at Jasko, but he's not close enough going into turn 1, so he will have to back out of that one. In the meantime, what's going on here? We've got Ugbar closing onto the back of Johnny, and NRP still sticking right on the back of our Flying Dutchman. Uniclark trying to get involved in this, and Dalavan also not too far behind. So this is effectively a 5-man battle for P4, 6-man battle for P4. Traven, Johnny, Ugbar, Nicky, Uniclark and Dalavan. Line astern here, just 2 seconds separates these 6 drivers. Unbelievable stuff from these guys in the RubbingsRacing League. It's constant wheel-to-wheel action in this league. Blink and you'll miss it. It's just the way it is here. And at the moment, we're just reminding the viewers that Edwin, currently P12 in the classification at the moment, has already been in for his mandatory pit stop. The pit lane here at Indianapolis is extremely long, so you lose a lot more time than you would usually expect in Project Cars 2. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Currently 35 seconds off of the race leader. He's in a battle for the championship with Jasko VR. I'm sure he'll want to take as many points off of our Bosnian reigning championship leader as he can. But we'll have to see how this unfolds. ItsBT's currently got a 5-second lead over Jasko. We saw ItsBT make an absolute flying start as we see Nicky go very, very wide, getting it all wrong coming through the third to last corner. That is going to allow Dalavan through. So Nicky losing a load of places there. In the meantime, it looks like Dalavan's taking up a position. Uniclark up a position. So Uniclark still right on the back of Ugbar. Johnny needing this train still. This train of 5 cars, and it looks like Traven looked to the inside there of Johnny, but thought better of that one. He's going to have to go again. Johnny just about grimly clinging on to this position, but this is a battle that's going to rage on here. These guys now losing touch with Jasko, and Jasko's got past Lionsfoot. So it looks like he's done that position there. He's up into P2. Johnny, in the meantime, still trying to hold on ahead of these guys. We know Johnny's a hell of a racer. We've seen some of his montage videos on YouTube. He's one of these guys in RubbingsRacing who never gives up. He's never gives the position lightly. He's one of the best fighters in the RubbingsRacing League, and it's great to have him in the field this evening. Missed a couple of races earlier in the season, but he's one of the regulars in the GT3s. And here he is, still holding on ahead of Traven in the Porsche. Let's see what Ugbar's doing. He's still just ahead of Uniclark at the moment, but Uniclark forever piling on the pressure here on our Flying Dutchman. But Ugbar doing a good job at the moment, currently running P6. Let's see what the guys are saying in the comments. Gary Campbell says, "Come on, Nicky, push, push, push." Well, Nicky unfortunately made a little mistake there coming through the final turn, but it looks like he's got it together again. He's pulling back onto the back of Dalavan, so Nicky's still running good at the moment. He's only 3 seconds off of P4, even though he's actually running 9th. It's still very, very close. The field very tightly bunched here, so I will remind the guys just joining us on the stream that the top 11 guys in the classification have not pitted at the moment, and all the guys from 12th to 15th have already been in. So Edwin, Thorsten, Bruce Law and Duftino have all been in for their mandatory stops. Everyone from 11th upwards still needs to pit. Oh, as we see a spin. Oh no, is that Ugbar? I think it is. Is that Ugbar? Or is it not? No. No, it's not. It's Effie. Effie's lost the car, so that's a yellow flag. It looks like he's got it going again. I thought for a moment that was our Flying Dutchman. It looks like it is Effie, a stand-in for this race. He was a regular last season in our GT3 league. He's making a cameo appearance for this one. Very unfortunate. It looks like he's got it going again. And Effie will look to regroup and fight back here in this feature race. So Ugbar, it wasn't our Flying Dutchman there who had that moment. He's still running in P6, still holding off the challenge of Uni Clark, and not too far behind Traven and Lionsfoot as well. Closing in on these guys. Looks like Lionsfoot's lost the position to Johnny while we were talking about Effie. Johnny's up into the final podium spot. He's made the move there on Scotty, so Scotty dropping back a little bit. He's now falling back into the clutch of Traven. Traven's right behind Scotty now as they come up through the last corner. They're going to go side by side by the looks of it. It looks like Ugbar trying to hold on from Uni Clark. He's going to try on the outside here. Ugbar and Uni Clark side by side down the pit straight. Who's going to get the better of this one? Uni Clark's going to have the outside, but Ugbar's going to have the inside line. And in the meantime there, Traven making a very late switch there. It looks like Lionsfoot going very defensive very late on, and Traven had to dive out of the way to avoid contact there as they come into turn one. Lionsfoot holds onto the position. In the meantime, Ugbar goes very deep, and that's going to allow Uni Clark through. A little bit of contact there, but Ugbar keeping it together. So Uni Clark up into P6. Ugbar trying to hold on to that position, but in the end couldn't keep it. And looking like Nicky's looking to the inside of Ugbar as well. So these guys are going to go side by side through the S's. And looks like Nicky in the end sensibly had to back out of that one. He knew that Ugbar was not going to give it up. But Nicky gets a lovely run up this back stretch. And now he's going to have the outside. Ugbar's going to have to brake late if he wants to hold on to this position. This is 4th, 7th and 8th here. It looks like Nicky's got it. But Ugbar on the inside. Can he make a dive? No! No, he thinks better of that one. Had to slam on the brakes at the last second there to avoid contact. Good driving there from both of those guys. Nicky for the aggression, and Ugbar for the sensible approach under braking there to keep that car out of the way. In the meantime, it looks like Uni Clark's done Traven up the inside. Can he keep the position? It looks like he does. Our man from Swindon up into the top 5 here. Non-stop action here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But it looks like Traven's going to look to the inside again. Unbelievable. It looks like Traven very late on the brakes. Looks like Uni Clark's going to hold it on the outside, and he has the position done. So Uni Clark there, brilliant driving from him. On lap 12, we got somebody into the pits there. I think that might be, is that Scotty? Yes, it is. Lionsfoot brings it in at the end of lap 11. So he's one of the first to blink here is Scotty. He's going to join Edwin, Thorsten, Bruce Law and Duttinho as the guys to have brought it in the early stages. Leonardo says, yes, go up to P2. What happened to Duttinho? It looks like he might have... He's retired. Duttinho's out of the race. Unbelievable stuff. Our Czech drivers looks like he looks like he's just stacked it on the edge of the banking. So we've got a yellow flag. Guys, be careful in the final sector. Duttinho in the wall on the edge of the track and flashing his lights there. We can see. So I don't know if his game's frozen, but we can actually see his lights flashing. But he's stuck on the edge of the track on the by the wall. So he will need to jump out of the session to avoid being an obstruction. So yellow flag through the final sector, guys. Duttinho flashing his lights, letting you guys know he's there. So meantime, let's have a look at the pecking order so far. We've got It's PT currently leading the pack. He's got a 7-second lead to Jasko. It's PT's been an absolute revelation here in this feature race. He was unfortunately involved in an accident with Thorsten Schmidt in the sprint race. Ended up making contact with Thorsten. They were running in a 4-car train. Jasko, Edwin, Thorsten and It's PT. And It's PT unfortunately ran into the back of him, got too late on the brakes, had the slipstream of 3 cars in front of him and just misjudged his braking point. Ultimately, they both ended up down the order. Thorsten retired from the race and It's PT ended up in P6 in that one. But It's PT well and truly making up for that little skirmish in this feature race. He's got 8 seconds of a gap to Jasko and he's lapping a second a lap faster than our championship leader. So SBT really making the most of this one, but we do have to keep an eye on Edwin because Edwin currently 39 seconds off of the race leader. Looks like he will not get past ItsBT when ItsBT comes in, but he's only 31 seconds behind Jasko. So if he can keep on the pace, he could potentially offer Jasko a bit of a challenge in the latter stages of this feature race. It's a 29 lap feature race. We're currently on lap 13 of this one. But Edwin, if he keeps his foot down, may offer a challenge to our Bosnian championship leader. And we saw Jasko did take the feature race in a good battle there with Edwin. So the championship lead will have moved up to 13 points after that one. Edwin knows he needs to deliver a hell of a job in this one to have a chance of taking the championship in the final round at Daytona Road Course next week. If Edwin manages to finish ahead of Jasko in this one, then championship lead will be 10 points going into the final round, if my calculations are correct. So it's doable, definitely. But we'll have to keep an eye on this one as it unfolds. Currently, it's BT leading the race. Jasko second, 8 seconds behind him. And Johnny dropping back a little bit. Uniclark has got his mirrors full of NRP. NRP's got past Traven and Ugbar. And next up for him is Johnny. Is Uniclark. And he's coming down the pit straight now. It looks like he's not quite close enough coming into turn 1. Let's see. NRP, definitely not close enough this time around. Traven running around in P6. Ugbar trying to shake off Dalavan. Dalavan looking very, very close here. It looks like Dalavan maybe got it a little bit wrong there going through turn 1. Has to back off a little bit. What's Travis doing? We haven't spoken much about Travis here in this feature race. Still yet to pit. Currently running P9 in this session. Has had a bit of a quiet one so far. I'm not sure really where he's going to come out when everyone comes in for their pit stops, but we know he has still yet to come in for his mandatory pit stop. We'll have to keep an eye and see how Travis is getting on later on in the race. Effie is running P10. We saw that spin for Effie when he was in that big, when he was in that 6-car train for 4th place earlier on. He lost the car coming through the S's. He's now dropped down to P10. Also still yet to pit. He's got Edwin homing in on him, who has already pitted. So Edwin, the highest runner of those who have already come in. So keep an eye on Edwin and see how this pans out, because he has already pitted. And he's closing that gap to its PT. Edwin's slightly faster than its PT last time around. So definitely with some talent here, Edwin around this track. We saw Road America last week. He took the feature race victory. So he's definitely got plenty of pace around these American tracks. And next week, final round will be at Daytona Road Course. So that will play very much into the hands of Edwin. It seems like Jasko definitely with the pace advantage around the European circuits, but in the Americas, Edwin definitely the man to beat so far on this American tour. But it'll be interesting to see what Effie does here as the sun starts to come up. So the track temperature will be rising very, very quickly here in the next few laps. The sun is rising. Nighttime has finished, and it looks like the sun is definitely out here. We're almost into daytime conditions here for the feature race for round 5 of RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Leonardo says its PT is flying. He's opened up a 9-second lead to Jasko. Well, Leonardo, I've been keeping track of this one, and it's actually been around that gap for pretty much the last few laps. Jasko, if anything, has actually stabilised that gap a little bit. Its PT was around 9 seconds clear a couple of laps ago. It's now down to 8.5 at the minute, although the Constantina effect on the timing boards means that when its PT gets to the end of a straight, the gap opens up, and then as soon as Jasko gets to the end of the straight, it then comes down again. It's just the nature of the gaps on project cars too. It's the way it goes. It's a little bit misleading at times, but I think the gap has pretty much stayed the same. So its PT was 2/10 faster than Jasko last time around. Not really too much to separate these guys at the moment, but it'll be interesting if Jasko can make the gains in the pit stops. If its PT has a dodgy pit stop and Jasko has a perfect one, it opens up the race completely and throws a whole sort of different battle into the equation. At the moment, Edwin 40 seconds off of the race leader, but he's only got 31 seconds to Jasko, so he's maintained that gap to his championship rival. And we know the pit lane here is very, very long, and you lose a lot of time for coming through the pits here, so it's definitely race on here between these two championship contenders. Just 30 seconds separates them, and we know that if Edwin comes out ahead of Jasko, then the championship battle's well and truly on for the final race at Daytona Road. This is obviously the penultimate round of the season here for the GT3 Championship here at RubbingsRacing. I just want to take the time to obviously thank everyone for watching live on YouTube or on the RubbingsRacing channel as always, and it's an absolute pleasure to have commentated on this season. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Be sure to join us next week for the Championship Decider. It's going to be an absolute cracker, and as it stands, it looks like it's going to be very, very close on points by the time next Sunday comes along. But the man of today for this feature race so far has been its PT. He's been absolute class of the field in this feature race, pulling out the gap just a little bit to Jasko the last time we found him. In fact, he was half a second quicker than our championship leader on that last lap. So he really has taken this league by storm. This must be one of his favourite tracks. Its PT has done a good job in his cameo appearances earlier in the season But it's at this track here, in his first race as a permanent driver in the GT3 Championship, that he really has delivered and truly shown what he's capable of.
Can I have this? Thank you.
So it's PT doing an excellent job here, lapping faster than anybody else on the track at the moment. And it looks like Johnny did a good lap last time around. He actually was the third quickest man on the track. He is third in the standings at the moment in the race. He's currently got a 4-second gap here to Uni Clark. Johnny currently running in the final podium spot. That will not be the case once he comes into the pits, because Edwin is currently 22 seconds behind him. I'm expecting that Johnny will come out somewhere around maybe Thorsten or Effie by the time he comes in. So that will be one to watch out for. Effie, I think, has been into... I know Effie hasn't been into the pits as far as I know. So it looks like he'll probably come out around Thorsten, maybe a little bit behind Thorsten when he comes in. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Pardon me, but Johnny doing an excellent job so far in this feature race. Was running at the front from the early stages and has sort of kept it in there. He's pulled away from Uni Clark and NRP a little bit. Let's see what's going on with NRP. It looks like he's gone up to fourth with Uni Clark bringing it into the pits. So Uni Clark is next to Blink here in the feature race. We're on lap 18 of 29. We've got 11 laps to go. Uni Clark bringing it in for the mandatory stop. The track is definitely warming up now with daylight upon us. So these guys now may make the switch to hard tyres, or maybe they'll stay on the soft. You just never know what these guys are going to do in this feature race. But it's PT. I'm pretty sure that he feels comfortable at the moment on whatever tyres he's on. He's absolutely running off with this one. Although last time around, looks like Jasko might have closed in a bit, because that gap under 9 seconds now. But you never know what's going to happen in the pit stops, because it's PT could get held up in the box. Jasko could get an absolute flyer of a stop, and then it just opens it up completely. The morale, the momentum would be with Jasko, and PT would be looking over his shoulders, watching his mirrors tentatively and with bated breath. But we'll have to see how this pans out. We've currently got just over 10 laps to go in this race. In fact, we have got 10 laps to go now. PT comes over the line to start lap 19 here. Let's have a look down the pecking order and see if there's any battles going on. It looks like Bruce Law and Uni Clark very, very close on the track now. Uni Clark, it looks like he's closing in here on Bruce. They're coming down the back straight now. Can Uni Clark maybe look for a move here? Probably not close enough this time around, but not much to separate these guys at all. Bruce Law, quickest in the pre-season time trials here for the RubbingsRacing's GT3s at Lonington. Oh, as we see Uni Clark get loose there, coming through the S's, just about holds it together. But that's an uncharacteristic error there from Uni Clark, last season's runner-up in RubbingsRacing's Touring Car Championship. Usually a front runner to mid-pack in the GT3s. He's usually somewhere up there, but at the moment not having a good one. Definitely got out of shape there going through the S's. Traven has brought it in to the pit lane for his mandatory stop, so he's in at the moment. What's going on with the other guys? Looks like Travis has gone up to P6, but he's still yet to come into the pits. We'll have to keep an eye and see what Travis does when he comes into the pits. He should come out around Uni Clark or Lionsfoot when he does. And it looks like Ugbar's come into the pit lane as well for his mandatory stop. You lose a lot of time in the pit lane here at Indianapolis. It really is a killer. You spend so much time going along it. It's one of the longest pit lanes on Project Cars 2, if not the longest, I would say. And it's agonising. Honestly, it's the most agonising thing when you're trundling along the pit lane. You can see all these guys going past you, and there's nothing you can do. You can't put your foot down. You can't accelerate. You've just got to wait for the pit lane meter to come off. And it looks like Ugbar's lost the position. Oh, as we see Ugbar getting a little bit loose there. And who's that? I'm trying to figure out. That must be SPT lapping Ugbar there. So Ugbar having a lap put on him by our race leader. That just goes to show the standard that SPT is putting down, lapping our Flying Dutchman here. Ugbar very sensibly getting out of the way and adhering to the blue flags. Good stuff there from Ugbar. Duftinho saying to Ugbar, you cannot do this. Maybe Duftinho alluding to the fact that Ugbar wasn't exactly the easiest at moving over there, but to be honest, I don't think it was. It was a little bit cheeky, but I wouldn't say it was too bad. I do see your point though, Duftinho. It was a little bit cheeky, but at the moment it's PT leading the race. He currently got a comfortable lead there, as you see Ugbar getting very wide there, coming through the last couple of corners. It looks like he's got it going again. Let's have a look at the split times and see what's going on through the field. Uni Clark here, closing on to the back of Bruce Law. These guys we spoke about earlier were battling it out. There's just over a second here separating them, so Bruce Law has actually pulled out the gap here, and we see these guys closing on Johnny. Bruce Law and Johnny going side by side here. It looks like Bruce Law's got the position. Can Johnny fight back? Coming through the S's here. Bruce Law with a fantastic move, coming through the first couple of turns here, but Johnny's still right there, hoping to get involved. Bruce, a little bit of a shake there, but Johnny likewise on the exit, just got it loose coming out of the S's, and I don't think he's going to be able to close coming down his back straight up towards the next corner. It looks like Johnny's going to look to the inside, but in the end thought better of that one, thought that's not worth going for. So it looks like Bruce is up a position, and Uni Clark just watching this unfold in the background behind them, hoping to get involved at some point. If these guys trip over each other, or if they make a mistake, if these guys spend too long fighting each other, Uni Clark's going to be right there to capitalise and get himself into a top 10 spot here in the final few laps of this race. Keeping an eye on the leaders. What's going on with Edwin? It looks like he's got a 41-second lead to our race leader XPT. So at the moment, 33 seconds off of his championship rival Yasko. Yasko's been a little bit quicker than Edwin over the last few laps, so as it stands it looks like Yasko is going to come out ahead of his championship rival, which will effectively seal the deal with the championship. Although having said that, you never know what can happen in the last round, but the gap, if it stays as it is, will be extended to 16 points. So Edwin would have to have a hell of a shift in the final round if he wanted to take it away, but you never know what will happen in these final few laps. And currently 33 seconds, we know a pit stop is around that, so Edwin may be able to get his foot down and absolutely charge in these last few laps. We've got 7 laps to go here in the feature race for round 5 of RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. Let's keep an eye on this battle for 9th place, because Bruce Law and Johnny, not much at all separating them. Well, it looks like Bruce has maybe got the ascendancy here in this little battle. Uni Clark's still in the background, not letting these guys out of his sight. Traven, I'm sure, will be looking to get involved. These guys start tripping over each other and start giving each other problems, but Bruce here, and Johnny's lost it. Johnny's lost the car coming through the S's. Oh no, disaster! Johnny, that is got to be his kryptonite, the S section here this evening in this race. Oh, it's gone very wide as well there. It looks like that's disaster there. Linesfoot's going to close right onto the back of Johnny. This one has not gone very well for Johnny in the second half of this feature race. In fact, for the whole of this feature race, it's been littered with errors, very unfortunately for Johnny. Holding 12th spot at the moment. Effie's coming in for his mandatory pit stop, so this will drop in behind Johnny Lionsfoot once he does exit the end of the pit lane. So Effie coming in the box, looks like he's halfway down the pit lane now, just coming over the brickyard line. So a race leader also in the pits, it's PT. So where's this going to come out in relation to Edwin? Edwin currently coming through the middle sector at the moment. Edwin was 38 seconds off of the race leader when its PT came in. Yasko knows this is his time now to try and make some inroads if he can, but the gap was 7-8 seconds when its PT came in. So Yasko's got his work cut out if he wants to win this race. His main battle is now got to be with Edwin, because this is his championship rival. This is the man who he's got to beat to become a double GT3 champion. We know that these two have been fighting it out all season brilliantly, and we saw in the sprint race they had a very, very close fight in which Yasko eventually came out on top in a very, very close battle. Muff Dog says in the chat, Yasko VR's leading after race 4, Leonardo. So basically, Leonardo, the championship situation is that after the sprint race, the gap would have been 13 points. It would have been 13 points after the sprint race. So Edwin's got to realistically finish ahead of Yasko if he wants to have a good chance of winning the championship in the final round. Because you get 35 points for a win, it's 30 for second and 27 for a third place finish. So Edwin with it all to do, but he's responded a little bit here on this last sort of half a lap. He definitely has the pace in the first sector here. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Travis still yet to pit, so it'd be interesting to see how Travis copes with this. Edwin going very, very wide there, almost gets a little bit loose, but just about holds it together there. He wants to get past Travis as soon as possible. He doesn't want to be messing about here. behind him, but Edwin at the moment struggling here, and he's got 35 seconds to make up to current race leader Jasko. Once Jasko comes into the pits, it's PT will assume the race lead. In the meantime, Nicky's been very, very quietly making his way up the order. He still needs to come in for his pit stop. When he does, we're expecting him to come out around probably just in front of Bruce Law, but we'll have to keep an eye. Thorsten Schmidt will move up a position. It looks like Thorsten could be on for a 4th place finish here in this feature race, which would be a fantastic result for him with what happened in the sprint race. Travis looks like he's brought it in for his mandatory pit stop, so that will be a sigh of relief for Edwin. That releases him into some clear air. So our Colombian season 1 of 2019 champion has got some clear air here. He's currently running P4, 5 seconds behind its PT. Its PT having brought it into the pits already in this race. So its PT had a gap of 7 seconds to Jasko before he came in. He's got a 5-second gap to Edwin. So if we think about that logically, if its PT and Jasko have been doing similar lap times, then this could release Edwin into 2nd spot once Jasko comes in. So definitely one to look out for here. Edwin, the dream's not over yet. If he comes out ahead of Jasko, he will take 3 points out of Jasko's lead in the championship and potentially move himself to within 10 points of the championship leader with just a round to spare at the final round at Daytona Road Course. Very, very tight in the championship. The 2 champions of our GT3 division here at RubbingsRacing going at it, trying to become double champions here this season. As Edwin here comes into the final couple of corners, what's Jasko doing? Jasko, we're expecting him in the pits pretty much any time now. It looks like he's getting a little bit held up there behind Travis. Travis in the end moves over. I wouldn't say a little bit cheeky from Travis, but I'm not gonna, yeah, no, bit of a flash of the lights there, but Travis moves out of the way. Took a little bit of time. Gary Campbell says, Andy, has everyone pitted? Gary, let me just run through the order. So Effie's been in, Ogbar's been in. I'm just checking to see if anyone has still come in. Nicky still needs to pit, Gary. Nicky still needs to pit. Aside from that, I believe everyone's been in. So when Nicky comes in, I'm expecting he'll come out somewhere around Bruce Law. So I'm expecting a 5th or 6th place finish from Nicky in this one, but we'll have to keep an eye on that because mistakes from the guys up front could open that up. But I'm predicting that he's going to come out probably around where Bruce Law is at the minute, if he keeps up the pace that he's got at the moment, that is. But here comes Jasko coming out of the final turn now. Is this going to be his pit? No, it's not. Jasko stays out for at least another lap. He's got to come in either this time or the next, otherwise he will face disqualification from the race standings. Currently trying to build up this gap here that he's got to its PT and Edwin, but we'll have to see how this pans out. Edwin currently driving a good race at the moment, very well disciplined. Came in for a very early pit stop, and we know the gap in the championship after the sprint race this evening was 13 points. So if Edwin can finish 2nd ahead of Jasko in 3rd, then he will gain those 3 points on him and cut the gap to 10 points with just a round to spare. But at the moment, this is anyone's guess. It looks like its PT is going to take the race win once Jasko comes in with a very long pit lane here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But it's anyone's race at the moment as Edwin comes over the line to complete that lap. And last time around, Edwin matching Jasko's times. So these two absolutely eye for an eye at the moment. Edwin more than a match here for our Bosnian reigning champion and championship leader in this feature race, and he's also keeping pace here with its PT, so not losing that gap at all. Our Colombian driver, season 1 2019 champion, doing an excellent job. Duftinho says fingers crossed for Jasko. Go on, go brother. Looks like Duftinho is voicing his clear support here for his teammate Jasko VR. Oh, as Jasko brings it in very late there for the pits. That was a last second decision there for Jasko. And just having a look at the fuel gauge here, I think Jasko might have to take on a little bit of fuel here. This is going to be very interesting. He has got 3 laps left to go. It looks like he's got 6 litres of fuel in that car. So is he going to take on a little bit of extra fuel here? Be very interesting to see where he comes out in relation to its PT and Edwin. These guys are going to be coming out of the pits. It looks like Jasko took on no fuel there. So this is anyone's guess as to what's going to happen here in this feature race for RubbingsRacing's GT3 Championship. We've got 3 laps left to go. Its PT is coming through the last couple of turns now. I think he should come out ahead of Jasko. We're going to go on board with Jasko and see what he's seeing. Currently, it looks like NRP's gone past. NRP still needs to come in for his mandatory pit stop. When he does, he'll drop back behind these guys. Its PT's come in again. His PT's brought it in again. It's unbelievable. So Edwin's going to come over the line, and it looks like Edwin's going to take the lead. Is he? Where is Jasko? It looks like he does. Edwin released into the race lead with 3 laps left to go. What's happened to his PT? He must have run out of fuel, must have been a problem. But Edwin emerges with the race lead with 3 laps left to go in this feature race. It's the net race lead. NRP has the lead on the track, but he does need to come into the pits. So this is now all down to Edwin and Jasko, the 2 championship protagonists. Edwin currently with a great chance of closing the gap in the championship. If it stays as it is at the moment, then Edwin will close it by 5 points on Jasko, and the gap will be just 8 points going into the final round. But anything can happen here. We've got 2.5 laps to go. Edwin just has to hold his nerve, and he will take the race win and take some points off of our championship leader here. This is going to be a fascinating end to this race. Leonardo says maybe Jasko will finish P4. Thorsten is having a good race though. Well, it looks like, well, no, because actually Leonardo, it's NRP still has to come into the pits. So Edwin and Jasko will be P1 and 2. Thorsten looks like he's on for a podium, but Thorsten in the background, while we've been talking about these two, is actually closing in on these guys. So while we talk about these 2 championship protagonists, Thorsten Schmidt closing the gap, currently P4, just a second and a half off of these guys, and it looks like we've got a hell of a battle coming down the pit straight. Is Edwin going to go defensive? Yes, he is. He makes a very late move to the inside. Jasko's going to have to switch if he wants to get past him. That was a late move there from our Colombian driver, but it looked, to be fair, it looked like Jasko wasn't alongside him when he made that switch. So Edwin just about holding on the inside, but Jasko looking very hungry for the position, and Jasko's lost it. Oh, Jasko's lost the car coming through turn 2, so that's going to drop him back. Jasko's going to have to regroup and get it together and try and get as many points as he can, but it looks like Edwin has got the breathing space that he needed in this feature race. Brilliant stuff from those guys. In the end, Jasko feeling the pressure a little bit too much, and we're hearing that Jasko might have a problem with fuel. We've got a lap and a half left to go. He may have to stick it on lean and try and coast the car home in a top gear here, but Jasko at the moment currently running P3. He's got just a lap and a half left to go to get it to the finish. But Edwin, season 1 of 2019 champion, currently with the lead of the race. Thorsten is actually closing the gap on him though. Last time around, Thorsten Schmidt half a second quicker. The gap at the front just 9/10 of a second. Can Edwin hold on this final lap here and take maximum points and cut into that lead that Jasko's got at the top of the championship? This is anyone's race here. Edwin or Thorsten, who's going to get it as we enter the final lap here? It looked like Jasko was going to pile the pressure there on Edwin, but in the end, a little mistake there coming out of turn 1 ultimately put pay to his chances of taking the race win. It looks like Edwin is going to take this unless Thorsten can pile on a last minute attack here. He flashes his lights in the background, letting Edwin know that he's there and he wants the race victory. Thorsten very unlucky in the sprint race, unfortunately got tangled up in an incident with its PT. Its PT simply outbraked himself, didn't misjudge his braking point with a slipstream of 3 guys in front of him. But Thorsten here trying to make up for that heartbreak in the sprint race and take the win on the final lap of this feature race. Edwin has it, Thorsten wants it. Who's going to get the victory? Jasko looks like he's going to drop points to Edwin in the championship battle, but at the moment it's all about this little battle here. Edwin and Thorsten very, very close on the road, but Edwin knows all he's got to do is just navigate through the final couple of corners. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him here. It looks like Traven here is up ahead of him. Lions Foot also not too far in front of these guys, but it looks like they won't be a problem because they're coming into the final 2 corners now. So Edwin V77 has just got these 2 corners to go and he will be the winner of this feature race. It's been a good race here from Edwin, very well managed. He took an early pit stop in the feature, started at the back, didn't make the early progress that we saw Jasko making, but he's done solidly so far in this race, and it looks like Thorsten closing right up onto the back of him now as they come through the final turn, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Edwin V77 comes out of the last corner and is going to take the victory here in the feature race for round 5 RubbingsRacing GT3 Championship here at Indianapolis. Thorsten a valiant second. Jasko VR completes the podium in third. Cut the glass chicane to avoid running out of fuel before the line. Very strategic move there from Jasko. Very, very intelligent at that. Nicky, best of the rest, 4th place here. Good driving here from NRP, our man from Silverstone, Marshall on our Discord. Good to see Nicky riding high again, and he should hold on. He should still be 3rd in the championship after that. Good performance from Nicky. Bruce Law, didn't see too much of him, but a great job there. 5th place for Bruce Law. I'm sure he'll be delighted with that one. Looks like Johnny's going to hold on for 6th place here ahead of SPT. SPT hunting him down, but Johnny looks like he's got the position. Well done. Good driving, Johnny. SPT 7th. Dalavan comes over the line in 8th. It looks like XBT is going to lose a heap of positions with that penalty. It looks like Dalavan Lionsfoot promoted a position to 7th and 8th. Travis comes over in 9th. Is XBT going to hold on for a top 10 spot, or is Uniclark going to have it? Here comes Uniclark through the final few turns. Looks like our man from Sweden had a bit of an unfortunate race in this one. Couple of mistakes, didn't really get it together. I'm sure he'll be back next week to do a better job. Uniclark in 11th. Effie's going to come over, so XPT does hold on for a top 10 with the penalty. Effie comes over in 12th place. Then we've got Traven, who will finish in 13th, and Oakbar rounds off the field. Thank you everybody very, very much for watching live on the RubbingsRacing YouTube channel. It looks like Thorsten there got the fastest lap of the race, so that will mean that Edwin will take 8 points out of Jasko's lead from that feature race. So, ladies and gentlemen, the gap at the front of the championship going into the final round at Daytona Road Course is 5 points. 5 points separates Jasko at the top and Edwin in second place. These two former champions of RubbingsRacing's, well, Jasko the reigning champion, Edwin the former champion, these two go into the final race 5 points apart. I urge you, join us next week, Sunday, 8 PM GMT, live on the RubbingsRacing channel to see who becomes RubbingsRacing's first ever double GT3 champion. It's been a fantastic season. It all comes to a head next week at Daytona Road Course. Join us at the same time next Sunday, and be sure to hit that sub, like and bell button. Join us at www.rubbingsracing.co.uk, and don't forget to donate. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and peace.